Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. As promised, I did say that some of these fragrance houses that I went to see at Accento, I really wanted to do a house overview because I loved so many. It wasn't just a new release or a favorite that I cherry picked. I just loved so many from the house that I prefer to just kind of feature them all. And this is one that I also got requests for, which is Sospiro. I have 15 here. This is a new collection, all from 2022. They are by Christian Provenzano, and this house is Italian but based in United Arab Emirates, which is common because there's a lot of advantages for a company to be based there, business advantages. But there's definitely this Italian influence. And again, Christian Provenzano is the perfumer who is a magnificent perfumer for luxury perfumes. They are based on classical music, which you'll notice by the names. And if you know these musical terms, it really makes sense when you smell the fragrance because it kind of goes with it. So I'll explain. So let's get into it. So the thing about Sospiro, and I have to just kind of address the pink elephant in the room because everyone I talk to is so confused about the brand. So I know they don't like to talk about it, but Sospiro's been around since 2010, and they had a relationship with Xerjoff, and they were distributing. Xerjoff was distributing it. They essentially broke up, and I don't know any of the details of that breakup. No one does, but I really don't care, to be honest. But what I've noticed is there's kind of like this reboot going on, and they've released this new collection as of 2022, and it is killer. And I mean, if you've ever broken up with someone, you know the best thing you can do, as they say, the best revenge is success, right? And let me tell you, they have leveled up, and I'm loving it. So whatever that story is, yes, it's the same company. Sospiro's been around. They're there. They just don't have this relationship with Xerjoff anymore. They have redone things phenomenally. Okay, I am gonna, like I said, be fast because there's 15 of these. So it's a very quick review on each. But let me start with my favorite and the first one that I got, which is Bel Canto. These are in a gorgeous velvet bottle with the classic Sospiro little hat here. And I have to say that this new collection is just such a different caliber. They are way better than they've ever been. I mean, I've known them not since 2010, but maybe like 2013 or so. And yeah, they're way more refined and better materials, and it shows. But Bel Canto is a gorgeous, fresh, musky, powdery fragrance. If you're into that kind of thing, which I am, this is your easy reach. This is, gosh, if you like comforting fragrances like Nothing But Sea and Sky or Byredo Gypsy Water or Palo Santo, Piano Santal, like these musky or powdery or comforting, but this one is fresh and vibrant and has a certain intensity that lingers. A lot of those are more like skin scents that you might discover. Maybe even Dama Bianca would be one that if you like, you would like this, although this is fresher. It's fresher and fruitier, which I like. There's like a fresh, fruity, powdery, musky thing going on. That this is just such an easy reach for me and an easy favorite. I just love that kind of fragrance profile, and the quality and performance on this is phenomenal. So Bel Canto, easy buy. Next is Erba Pura Magica. I want to say Erba Pura first came out somewhere between like 2010 and 2013 with Sospiro. Then, you know, Xerjoff had one, but this is the Sospiro, and I thought it was going to be identical, but it's not. And I thought I was crazy because I'm smelling it and I'm like, wow, this is smooth. This is really refined. This makes Erba Pura kind of look like just a Middle Eastern fragrance. Like, oof. I was shocked, and I had to ask them, what changed here? It just feels more intense, yet smoother and more refined. And indeed, they increased the percentage of oil, and there's more refined materials that are used, and the quality shows. If you don't like Erba Pura and you find it a little too scratchy or irritating for you, by all means, try Erba Pura Magica. In my opinion, throw all the others away. Like, we all have something in that scent profile of a fruity vanilla musk. Just throw them away. Just get this one. Like, that's my plan. I'm blown away at the quality and how smooth and delicious it is. Like, this is what all the other formulas strive to be, and Christian Provenzano just hit it out of the park. Like, this is an elegant version. It's a very elegant, smooth version of that fruit bowl vanilla musk. Like, it's amazing. Erba Pura and Magica. Sospiro only has those two collections right now. There is the Erba collection and there's the Classica collection. However, the Erba collection is Erba Magica, Erba Oud, Erba Leather. But I'm going to go by the color collections because I see a trend in those colors. So Erba Magica is in that Erba collection, and it is that beautiful turquoise color. But I'm going to go back to the golds. The golds I really favor. So with that, Erba Oud. Erba Oud opens with a juicy, gorgeous, like stone fruit, kind of fruity fragrance. And then quickly you get this beautiful, subtle oud that comes through and gives it a little bit of heft. Yeah, so the oud comes through, but it's soft and gentle. If you're afraid of oud, don't be afraid. This is actually a great kind of beginner's oud, and it's not heavy, where I feel like heavy ouds, people aren't as into them right now. Like I said, they're leaning more into lighter fragrances, lighter woods. They're not getting away from woods, but just lighter versions of wood. And this is a lighter oud. It's a more delicate one that goes so beautiful with these juicy fruits that I absolutely love. Erba Gold. This is a really good one. Dare I say it, it's almost like the Selfridges Erba Gold added oud and made way more refined for me. Now, I did find that a lot of these smelled way better on skin than on paper, which to me is also a sign of a luxury fragrance, because when you're using these really highly refined materials, they just work better on skin. They just kind of fall flat on paper. So a lot of them I didn't get the hype until I tried it on skin. Now the next one is Liberto. Liberto, basically what they sing in the beginning of an opera. Like, that's what they're singing, the soprano, a Liberto. So this one definitely has some feminine energy to it, which makes sense. They're referring to the soprano singing in the opera. And it has this fruity floral, like a delicate fruity floral, like a watery fruity floral with some delicate spices in there. It kind of reminds me like a stronger version of Raja's Elixir. What was another one that I thought of? Fragrance du Bois has Petals de Cashmere. It kind of reminds me of that too, where you get this peachy, fruity floral, but then there's this like delicate spices added. Like you've got carnation, some very, very gentle herbal spicy notes that just give a little bit of zing to it. And then again, you do have a beautiful vanilla musk base that I just love, and it just kind of gives it that feminine feel too, and a little bit of body. It is still a more gentle fragrance, I found, but so, so easy to wear and so beautiful for spring and summer. This was another favorite of mine, Liberto. Liberto has this like green spicy thing going on, but it never goes masculine. It's never like a green spicy that irks me or that feels masculine. So it really still keeps its gentle femininity, which I really like. Next up is one of the most like complex of them, is Prima Donna. And I know this is a really popular one, especially for my gourmand girls. I mean, I'm kind of a little over rich gourmands right now, but Prima Donna. And Prima Donna opens with this kind of cherry chocolatey kind of vibe to it, with this delicate leather coming in on there. I mean, wearing this jacket, kind of, I could totally be going for Prima Donna right now with what I'm wearing. It has, yeah, like cherry chocolate leather, very complex. This is a super complex fragrance that I really struggled to try and describe. It's very, well, they say it perfectly, very grand and majestic to describe a prima donna, which the name Prima Donna. There's definitely like this lactonic thing going on. And there's definitely that leather that comes through that gets stronger and stronger. You have to like leather, but it's not leather leather forward, I should say. Like leather's really in underneath there, giving it this confidence. You need a little confidence when you're wearing this. When you're feeling sassy, bossy, loving your outfit, you want, you know, you're like, your shoulders are hung back and you're feeling, your chin is up, you're feeling good. This is that fragrance, because you don't want the fragrance to wear you. You want to wear the fragrance. But when you have a bold personality and a big personality, or just in one of those moods, maybe it's your birthday and you're feeling all hotsy-totsy, this is the fragrance that's going to be able to match you. But Prima Donna, yeah. Gourmand and leathers, like the best I can sum it up. Gourmand lactonic leather. It's really pretty. There's jasmine and rose in here too, but really, really pretty. Next is Contralto, which I also opted for a full bottle. I really, really like this one. Contralto, the female singer, is like a female voice that's lower. Think alto versus soprano, bass and tenor, right? Same female voice. You have the contralto, which is a deeper feminine voice. So this one keeps the femininity while also going deep and rich. But what this does for me is it goes outdoors. It goes foresty. There's been a lot of comparisons to Belle de Freak on this in the dry down, which I see, although I never really liked that fragrance too much. I can see the comparison because of the balsam notes in here. Those pine needle trees are in here. It opens with orange blossom and pink pepper. So you get this like fruity, like a fruity floral kind of opening with a zing from that pink pepper. Is like a fruity pepper. So it has a zing to it. And there's also, I think, cloves. So you get this zing that you don't know how to describe, honestly, because there is that clovey kind of spiciness along with this sweetness, this like sweet and tart thing going on. And then there's chestnut in here, but do not think Madeleine's nothing at all like that. I don't even really get a lot of chestnut, to be honest. I can't identify it. But I really get the juniper, the vanilla, the Peru balsam. I really get that creamy but outdoorsy kind of crisp, clean, like gentle fluidity silver has a lot of that juniper in there. And then if you had a little bit of Belle de Freak in there, and then you need something also like, and then also maybe a little bit of that gypsy water. Like there's something creamy, but there's fresh and clean I like about this. There's something very outdoorsy, fresh that I just love. Even if you liked like Sexy Garrig by Veronique Gabai, like they're all kind of in that realm. Or if there were like a female version to Apex by Raja, which also really has those balsam notes in there. This one is so good. It's a crisp, clean, great, great crisp fragrance for even if you're wearing like a white blouse or you just want to feel refined and fresh. Love this one. I really love this one. Yeah, that juniper just gives this nice pop of freshness. Oh, I like that. Yeah, it's really good. And then that you have this depth of the balsam and the vanilla, the fresh and the depth, sweet depth. Like it's both going on. It never gets too rich or wintry feeling. I like it a lot. Now, the next one in a gold bottle is another favorite of mine. I think I got a full bottle of this. This might have been my favorite. This was like top two, and that's Dolce Melodie. This one is a beautiful, beautiful almond fragrance. Now, if you like something like Soradora, Mandorle, where it has that almondy kind of feel to it and creamy, this is that, but it's that almondy plus this fruity goodness. Let me see. There's also blackcurrant and pear in there. This one opens like almond. Right out the gate, I get almond for sure, which is crazy because it's not even in the notes. Like it just comes off like a really big almond to me. And then it turns into this fruity almond that I really like. So I get this creamy sweetness kind of a thing going on. I think it's like a blackcurrant and pear. I do get some citruses, but weirdly not in the top. Like I get this orangey, juicy pear blackcurrant mixed with creamy sweet almond. Doesn't make sense looking at the notes, but that's literally what I got every single time I wore it. But that creamy gardenia and sandalwood just really give this smooth, white, creamy kind of feel to this. This was definitely one of my favorites. This and Bel Canto were my two top favorites. So I had to have a bottle of this, but I'll do a haul and you'll see which bottles I actually got, what I picked. Okay, what's next? All right, let me get these two out of my way. They're not my favorites. All right, these are not my favorites because they're just too dark and masculine for me, but Opera Grande. Think of the opera, a grand opera and the drama and the dramatism of it. It opens beautiful and fruity, very fruity floral, but kind of like the opera, you're going to find 3 acts and it definitely changes with the drama and gets more and more dramatic. You then go into the leather starts coming out. But it's creamy. It gets this creaminess from the nutmeg and it still stays like a vibrant leather. Like there's a freshness to it. Really kind of fresh and sweet. I kind of like that. In fact, maybe I do like this one. I take that back. And I think this is better on skin too. This is way better than any previous versions. Wow. It definitely stays fresher. And you have these woods. Like the vetiver is a nice clean vetiver, and the cedar wood, again, these lighter woods. So you have this like opening of fruity florals that are kind of giving way to this leather, and they're in this trance, and it doesn't completely give way to it. It's like this dance going on and this swirling of vanilla that it never gets too rough for me. I actually really like this one. This is a fun leather, but you have to like leathers, the way the leather's in here. I think this would be amazing on a man for sure. And for a woman, you have to like leather. I know not all my girls like leather. You do need to like leather. As much as it's a very refined and delicate leather. When you're wearing leather like high leather boots or leather jacket, leather works really well because it kind of adds to that vibe that you're in. Maybe that's why I'm liking it today because I'm wearing a leather jacket. But I really kind of like this one. It's a fruity, creamy, sweet leather, if that makes sense. With some woods in there too. Okay, so Opera Grande. Now, as much as I like this, the dry down to me, I didn't really like. Those base notes to me on my skin kind of came off like wet paint. Like it wasn't a good smell on my skin. So as much as I really love that first act and second act of the opera, I didn't like that dramatic ending for me. It just doesn't work for me. I've noticed that on other versions of opera also. So I wasn't digging that too much. Okay, this is the one that I was thinking of that I didn't like. So this is Erba Leather. This one's very masculine. If you want deep, dark, rich fragrances, that's Erba Leather. This one is, there's woody, it's leather, it's a slight bit of smokiness here. It opens citrus, passion fruit, then some jasmine, sandalwood, leathery notes. in a base of amber, leathery notes, and vetiver. Definitely has this masculine feel, very like masculine, tough guy. This is a tough guy. Yeah, he's a very refined bad boy. Like he's a wealthy bad boy. Yeah, there's a delicateness that from that jasmine that's barely a wisp in there, right from my hand. But because it is rich and woody and leathery, there's a lot of leather in this one. It's in the mid and in the base, and it's very rich and dark for those bad boys. If you like Fragrance du Bois, Oud Noir Intense, I really like that one. Or like Killian, Dark Lord, if you like that. Like, I think those rich, deep, leathery fragrances are so sexy on a man that this one would be great for you. I just didn't like it for me. Let's do it. So Vibrato. I tried Vibrato and was not getting it. So we're going to go into the green collection now. Now Vibrato. Okay, holy hype train. Okay, yes, Demi, that girl has incredible taste, and we have very similar tastes. So when she likes something, I know I'm going to like it. And we just seem to, even though we're very different in age, we seem to be on the same journey, like the same path of our journey of what we like when we were into gourmands and when we're into lighter fragrances, that it just seems to always work for Demi and I. So when I first tried it, I was like, I don't get it. I smelled it on paper and was like, it smells green and masculine, and that doesn't sound like Demi. But then I tried it on skin. Okay, now I get it. It is similar to Bel Canto in that this is a fruity, fresh, powdery, musky fragrance. The Vibrato is a more unisex version where it's a fresh, clean, you know what? A little bit like the Contralto has that like fresh outdoorsy thing going on where it's a green fresh. There's a little bit of like Contralto and Bel Canto into Vibrato. Vibrato is fresh and powdery, clean, musky, but a more like green fresh aspect to it, where Bel Canto is fruity. So it's kind of like you're getting that powdery fruit musk from the Bel Canto and that green outdoorsy freshness from Contralto. So I think if you like one, you'd like all three. Vibrato is very unisex and definitely appealing to the men. It's very sexy on men, very addictive also. I personally really loved it. It's very fresh and invigorating feeling. But again, I really love all three of those. So they're high marks. Like those are probably my top three in the house. So it makes sense that they all have these similarities to it, just going kind of like a little bit of a different flavor. So yes, Vibrato is a huge hit. It's very, very fresh, clean, powdery. I love it. I love it. And it lasts forever. It opens with an intense grapefruit note that's really prominent. There's a little bit of this herbalness around, you know, the first 10-minute mark there, but just relax and enjoy it. It doesn't stay very herbally fragrance because I'm not huge on herbals. I like small doses of herbal or short doses of herbal. I get tired of it if that's basically the fragrance. So it really does pass, and it's beautiful. It's funny because just 10 minutes at their booth, I figured out that I really gravitated to the gold bottles, and the green bottles seemed more masculine to me, and I was right. And the black ones seemed more rich. Okay, so if we move on to, let's see my notes here. Let's do tenor. Tenor, like bass, tenor, masculine voice. You're expecting it to be a more high-pitched masculine voice. And this one opens with kind of like a minty feel to it. I'm sure the lavender, because lavender can go that way and be very aromatic, almost like minty feeling, like fresh feeling from it. So I had to wear tenor again because I was just getting all kinds of weird stuff. A couple of them I had to wear again. And tenor, it opens this like sweet patchouli, which makes no sense. It has this like the way patchouli gets sweet. And then it gets a little creamy. Then it goes through this awkward stage that I don't like too much. And then it's more of like a light wood is kind of what happens. I don't know like tenor is my favorite. Maybe like I need to wear it a few more times, or maybe it just works better on a men's chemistry, which, you know, frequently that happens. That's why I love having my guy around to kind of use his skin, but I think he hates being like a lab rat all the time. So I try to refrain the best I can. The next is Basso, which is bass. You have your, like I said, soprano, alto, bass, tenor. This is a bass, so obviously meant to be more masculine and a deeper, richer version. Basso opens with a gorgeous, vibrant grapefruit. So you're going to think it's a freshie, but it's not. It dries down into a little bit more of like a richer fragrance, a little bit of floral notes. Basso, the bass, masculine fragrance that when the bass starts singing, you really like, it grabs you because he's so like deep and bellowy, and think of like Pavarotti with this like big voice coming through and captivating you. So it opens with grapefruit. You think it's going to be a freshie, but it's really not a freshie. Pavarotti's actually a tenor, come to think of it. The three tenors. Take that back. There's something still fresh. This one goes like, it opens grapefruit, citrus, but then it goes into like these fresh woods in Basso that I really enjoy. This. It has oak moss in it too, with gaiac wood, cedar, all these light, vibrant kind of fragrances. I guess that's why I'm thinking like Pavarotti singing, because even though he's a tenor, this is Basso, but I'm getting more tenor kind of vibes from this. But I like this one, and I can see how this is really popular with the men. It's a really easy to wear one. Catenza, okay. This one opens vibrant with bergamot and jasmine, but it is kind of like a fresh, earthy, green kind of fragrance. This is a really good one too for men. Definitely leans more masculine, kind of outdoorsy. Now, the lighter version would be the Contralto, but again, it has that outdoorsy feel. Like if you like Raja Apex, it has that outdoorsy green trees, like pine needle trees kind of feel, fresh, earthy. Really, if you like Apex, you're gonna love this one, I think. Really phenomenal fragrance for men. That is Catenza. And then last we have Pasticcio. This one opens kind of herbally, but then you get a little bit, this one needs skin for sure. It's got like a bitter and herbally kind of feel in the opening, but then gives way to a little bit of powderiness to it. I think this one needs skin. Musky, light woods kind of a feel to it. Now, Pasticcio is one that neither me nor my guy liked. Like, there was just something, it changed a lot. So I decided I needed to wear it again, because sometimes you just get an awkward wearing for whatever reason. But I didn't like the opening either time. It opens like a sweet, fresh herbal. I did get that every time. But then the dry down, I did like. The dry down was an iris musk cedar, this gorgeous, sweet, powdery musk. The middle had a minty fresh wood that I wasn't crazy about. But that dry down, we both really loved. Unfortunately, it took us like an hour to get there. But I did like that dry down a lot. But I just felt like I would rather go to Vibrato or something like that, or Basso. I do like them better. Did I get them all? No, I still have two more. Okay, these are hard too. These were hard for me. The two purple ones. Okay, the first one is Accento Viola. Now, I've struggled with some of the Accentos, but typically the Accento, you start feeling like there's going to be a beautiful, sweet and tart fruit. And there's this sweet, tart, powdery kind of opening. However, as it dries down, it gets like this green, like cannabis like kind of scent to it that I personally didn't care for. There's nothing like that in there, so I don't know what's giving me that. Let's see here. It opens with this gorgeous pineapple hyacinth. Maybe it's the iris that goes cold, because cold iris can have that green feeling that I don't care for. Yeah, I love this opening. Hyacinth and pineapple. It's such an amazing sweet and tart floral opening. But I don't like that green thing that comes through. I don't know what that's from. The iris being cold is the only thing I can think of. But I otherwise really like this. And I'm inclined to maybe wear this more on skin and see how I like it. Because I otherwise really like the Accento Viola. I really do. It's my favorite version of any kind of Accento I've heard of. And then this one I really like, Afgano Pura. This is meant to smell like a smoky jazz club. They say it opens with herbal notes, but I get like this subtle sweetness in the air, but there's like a dryness also going on. Like it's this dry, deep down in the club, that dry, dusty kind of air with this like little hint of sweetness coming through. And the sweetness gets more and more intense. This is a tobacco vanilla musk fragrance, essentially. So you have that dry tobacco in here with these dry woods and a vanilla musk that like sneaks through. There's something very sexy about this one. Really very sexy. I like this one. This is another one I really think I need to wear on skin and see how it acts, because I know all of these come to life when you wear it on skin. Afgano Pura, I'm really liking that one too. That's one I want to play with a little bit more, but that is the 15. Like there's a lot to cover here in 30 minutes. So, my favorites are, a lot of the gold. So I love the Vibrato. I do love Basso on a man. I do love Contralto. I do love Liberto. I do love Erba Oud. I love the Erba Pura Magica. I kind of love them all. They're just, some of them I think are better on a man. So, but I do have my favorites that I got in full size bottles, which is the Bel Canto, Liberto, Contralto, and Vibrato. Really loving those. So you can hear me talk more about those. And honestly, this is a rabbit hole I'm probably going to go down because I'm loving this house. Christian Provenzano, man, I'm really starting to fall in love with him as a perfumer. I'm seeing him as this common denominator to a lot of perfumes I'm liking lately. So yeah, but that is Sospiro. And you can order online from them. There's international. You can order to the US or Europe from them. You can order directly from them. So I will see you guys in the next one. Mwah.